let's go.
Right, so now
we have chat about podcasts. Gary, what do you think about podcast chat?
Philip
This
is
fun?
running this dictatorship, so the clock's going. We need to start being top banter funny now, because if we ain't
that as well.
if we don't hit 11 out of 10 on the funny scale, Philip ain't putting this in the podcast.
Get fucking cut out because the dictator has decided.
Oh
so.
shit! The power's gone to his head.
What's really annoying is all of this won't make it in because he'll not put it in.
Yeah, right. Considering I don't know, it feels weird now. Forced funny. Should we just jump in?
I mean, that's what Philip does. Philip causes forced funny.
Let's jump in. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Meandering.
No, just hello, ladies.
You gotta be inclusive.
Hello, ladies and adjacent people.
Adjacent people to the ladies.
Yeah, ladies.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Meandering Movie Podcast, where I'm Gary Copeland.
I had a name and I forgot it, but I am the functioning alcoholic Gavin.
And occasionally on the... they're just getting sadder. Like, I know I've said that before, but they're just getting worse.
I came up with that 2 hours ago while we were in the pub. What's my name?
Occasionally we have our audio boy.
Hello.
On the mic as well. This is the podcast.
He pretty much just chimes in to tell us when we're wrong or to drop
or to
facts.
be funnier.
Or to be funnier because he's in charge.
This is the podcast where we talk about movies mainly and pretty much everything else that comes up during the flow of our natural conversations.
Like how we're wearing fun, colourful socks. Look at us with our fun, colourful socks.
Mine have got Knuckles the Echidna from them from Sonic the Hedgehog.
Mine have stripes, in which my auntie bought me for Christmas.
My brother bought me these.
For Christmas?
Family socks.
For Christmas?
Philip, who bought you your socks?
My socks are grey.
Did anyone buy you them?
No.
Oh, that's sad. That's a sad pair of socks. In today's episode, I'm bringing a question to the table.
Is it this coffee table?
It's the metaphorical table.
The metaphorical table.
The metaphorical table.
What kind of wood is the metaphorical table made from?
Who said it was made of wood?
Yeah, like...
What
who did say it was made of... Yeah,
maybe it's a nice glass table.
Because I've always got wood in my mind because I'm always horny. Please cut that. He's not going to cut that.
No, I'm not going to.
Like a rich mahogany.
Ooh, not a poor mahogany, a rich mahogany.
A rich mahogany. The question I'm putting to you: which film has the best time travel?
That's easy. It's any of the 3 Star Trek films that have time travel in it.
Right. Okay.
I love how already
Well,
you're
there you
annoyed.
go. Episode's done. Let's wrap for the day. Cheers for that, Gav. No, you dick.
Here is the clear answer. The Star Trek movies that have time travel in it are the best, and every other time travel movie comes second.
What kind of time travel does Star Trek films have? Because I don't, other than the rebooted Chris Pine 2009 one, I haven't seen any Star Trek films.
Well, see, the one about the 2009 reboot is it's kind of like faux time travel because
it's Back to the Future time travel.
Well, yeah, but
they go back in time. The Romulans,
Romulans. What
are you? I'm saying the same thing you're saying.
You're saying Romulans.
Wait, because that's the same Romulans.
There's no O.
What the fuck's the word?
ROMOU. No,
you're putting an emphasis on the ons on the end, but it's Romulan.
Romulans.
Like penicillin.
Romulans.
ROMUNALS.
Romulans. Not penicillin.
All right, cool. So the fucking Romulans come back in time.
Oh,
and then they change. They change the timeline.
No, for what?
Yeah, they do.
No, sure. Would you just
let me tell
you what happens?
I've seen it.
I get to talk about Star Trek so very few times. Let me just say things about it.
Leonard Nimoy pops up and he's like, the timeline's been changed.
Because the Romulan planet is blown up. And they're all like, they're angry about it.
Yeah, James Kirk did it.
No, he didn't. Because it was so far in the future, James Kirk was dead. It was the Vulcans. The Vulcans did it.
Nimoy.
Yes. So the Romulan ship it was a mining vessel, just in case anyone was interested. Went back in time. They're not.
Yeah.
Went back
that's
in
a very
time
minor point.
to kill the Vulcans and pretty much Starfleet as a whole.
Isn't that what the Klingons do?
When?
I don't know. I don't want
The
Star Trek.
Klingons don't have the ability to work time travel.
Yeah, but did the Romulans? I thought they did it by accident.
The Romulans are quite a scientifically forward-thinking.
Right, fine, but I'm pretty
Species.
sure the fucking mining ship wasn't their greatest and brightest
No, it
minds
wasn't.
of the
But
future.
that's all that was left after the fucking Vulcans wiped out parts of the galaxy,
Why'd they do
including the
that?
Romulan. Because they had this.
I thought the Vulcans were good guys.
They are, but they were experimenting with this element that was extremely.
Unobtainium.
No, it was not unobtainium. That's Avatar you're thinking of. You big.
Is it the big red one?
The big red ball?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a really like
The dark aether from Thor
it's,
2.
it's an aggressive element, and it causes a massive explosion. But First Contact and A Voyage Home are much, especially A Voyage Home, are much kind of more time travel centric. Because with A Voyage Home, get this, a big old
I'm
probe
following.
shows up into the Milky Way, and it causes just technology to stop working, and it just starts shutting everything down, and ships are like stranded in space, and they're like running out of like air and all this type of
Yeah.
stuff. And the probe makes it all the way to Earth, and then it puts down this wee brain appendage and starts giving out these signals, looking for a response, and it's looking for a response from humpback whales. But in the year,
Wait. Nope.
yep,
Don't move on from that point. Why?
good
That
question.
seems important.
Good question. I can't remember why the probe was looking for a response from humpback whales, but
Is it like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Like the the whales and dolphins are actually the most intelligent species on the planet.
no.
So long and thanks for all the fish.
That,
If Audio Boy was here, he'd be
that
he'd be
movie
loving
didn't.
this.
That movie just didn't really pan out, did it?
That's a good film.
The-
I like that film.
I don't.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is a good
I
movie.
like Alan Rickman in it.
And Sam Rockwell, Martin Freeman, Zooey Deschanel,
Bill Nye.
Mos Def.
But yeah, anyway, back to the important bit. So the probe's trying to get a response from.
That's sorry. I feel like that's the most actors I've ever named in any movie ever, and you didn't even give me a well done. I got 6. Normally, well, no, because normally you and Audio Boy are like, oh, this person from that film, and I have to say, who's that? I don't know who that is, and you both snigger and snort at me.
Okay, how about I say a film and we see how many actors you can get from it?
Go on then.
Okay, Buried.
Ryan Reynolds.
There you go. Well done. Just for context, the film Buried stars Ryan Reynolds and no one else.
I was going to say, who else is in that
I
film?
thought that was quite funny. I'm quite worried that we're recording this podcast and Audio Boy has left the room. I feel like we can do it.
No, hey, now
We could leave him a
have free
secret
reign.
message. This is a secret message to Audio Boy. Please wash your fucking dishes. Do you want to leave him a secret message?
No, he's going to cut all this out.
Oh no, but what if he doesn't?
The power has proper gone to his
What?
head.
I know. Fucking tell me about it.
He has a point, though. We should probably do our own work.
I mean, I do quite a bit of extra work. I do all of the posting and scheduling and creating. Oh, he's back. But anyway, back to the topic we were talking about. Yeah. So the probe, just in case you wanted to hear about the plot to A Voyage Home, Philip, the 4th Star Trek film, I made sure you were around for it. So the probe makes its way to Earth, wanting to communicate with humpback whales. And by this point in the future, all the humpback whales have died. There's none left. Sad. Sad emoji.
Okay.
So then Kirk and the crew and the bird of prey that they stole at the end of A Search for
This is
Spock.
William Shatner's Kirk.
Yes. Because this film came out when it was the William Shatner era of
Mhm.
Star Trek. The bird of prey that they stole from A Search for Spock, they fly it around the sun.
The bird of, just so I'm clear, the bird of prey is the name of a ship,
Yes.
not the
A
Enterprise.
Klingon bird of prey.
Well, not the
They also
Enterprise.
have the Klingon Vorcha class, the Klingon Nigvar class.
Right.
That's not a
Any of
racist
these?
term.
None of these are the Enterprise, though.
No, because by this point they destroyed the Enterprise to kill the Klingons that were hunting them in A Search for Spock. And Kirk says the line, "Good God, Bones, what have I done?" And Bones responds, "What you had to do," and it's fucking badass. Anyway, so they're flying the Klingon bird of prey around the sun, and then this weird psychedelic Play-Doh monster face thing happens. It's really weird, I don't know what was happening. And then they're back in San Francisco in the 80s because the film had no budget, and they thought we need to write a script where we can just film in San Francisco modern time. And so that's what they did, and they literally go to like SeaWorld and stuff. Kirk obviously falls in love with a woman because his name is Kirk. And then they save two humpback whales called, I want to say like, what are they?
Save them from what?
No, they're going to like put them on the bird of prey and then fly them to the future, drop them off in the sea. Spoilers for Star Trek: A Voyage Home, by the way. And then they will communicate with the probe, and the probe will leave, and thus everything will return to normal.
That raises so many questions.
Okay, what are your questions? Please, I'll answer all of them.
So the probe comes to Earth. There's no humpback whales.
Yeah.
So presumably, if there's no humpback whales, something's gone horribly wrong on Earth anyway.
Well, by this point in the future, they've died out of they're extinct.
But why the fuck is Kirk and everyone trying to save this dead planet?
No, it's
Why
just
they're not just like, oh well?
no, because the planet's fine because it's like this kind of metropolis like future world where Starfleet is.
Wouldn't the probe just have fucked off eventually?
No, because it was waiting for a response and it wasn't getting a response. So it was
Yeah,
just
but eventually it would have just been like, right, pack up, next planet. There's no
but
fucking
then
whales
you don't
there.
have a movie, you big fucking bonk.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a fucking stupid plot.
It's not. Well, it kind of. I mean, the whole reason they did that plot was just so they could literally film in San Francisco in the 80s because they didn't have any budget.
Is it a closed?
Also, it's an environmental like. Cause
Is it a
literally-
closed loop?
Uh,
Doesn't sound. No, it doesn't sound it.
It is because it goes. It is a closed loop because it goes right back to just before they left.
Right. Okay.
But they also touch upon Japanese whaling because at this time Greenpeace and such things was the it thing. So at one point there's a Japanese whaling ship hunting two humpback whales. The two humpback whales that they later save and take
And
to the
William
future.
Shatner and co. Do they take any of their sci-fi shit back with them?
What do you mean?
I don't know how to phrase that question.
I mean, don't look at me. I wasn't listening.
What do you mean did they take it? Of course they fly back in time with a big fucking Klingon ship that can cloak.
Well, then surely the fucking fight with the Japanese whalers isn't that much
There
of an
isn't
issue.
a fight. It's a fun scene where the Japanese whalers are about to shoot, kill, and then skin the whales, because it's fun. But then the hook just bounces off of nothing. And the whalers are like, oh, because they're all Tim Allen on the ship. And then
And then the whales are like, oh, what's going on?
then the
Oh,
bird
shit. We're being fucking transported through time and space.
and then the bird of prey decloaks, and all the guys are like, ah, and then they turn the ship around and sail away.
This sounds terrible.
It's an
Yeah, it
okay.
does.
It's an okay film. It's quite a fun, jovial experience. Like Kirk and Spock, they hide the ship in the park, and then the woman drives them back to the park, and they're just getting off, and then she's like, "What is he just gonna walk around the park?" And Kirk's like, "It's what he does," because Spock's kooky and weird.
I've never seen you like this about anything.
I like Star Trek.
No, I know, but like, I have seen you shit over fine films because you get all snooty and snobby. And what you're describing sounds god awful.
It's good.
And you're smiling so much.
It's a fun, good film. There's a scene where Scotty's trying to use a computer, and he's supposed to be like one of the greatest engineers of the time, which in the future he is, but in the old times he's not. The old times being current day.
the
So-
80s.
yeah, and he sits down at the computer and he's like, "Computer, hello, computer," and then the guy's like, "Use the mouse," so he picks up the mouse and speaks into the mouse.
Oh,
Because it's fun. And then the guy's like, no,
Comedy
just
gold.
use the keyboard. And then he starts using the keyboard. It's fun. There's also a bit when Chekhov falls off a high place and breaks his skull and gets taken to a hospital. And then they have to go and save him from the hospital. And they've got
Sounds
these
delightful.
they've got these things in him. And then Bones is just like, it's like the Dark Ages in here. And he just throws a bunch of the stuff off. And then they just
I honestly haven't got a fucking clue how to get us back on topic right now. We are so far
Oh,
off
well, we
the
haven't even got
reserve.
to Star Trek First Contact yet, which is one of the Picard films in which the Borg have finally invaded the Milky Way, and everyone's fighting them. But spoiler alert for the beginning of First Contact, which came out in 2009.
You don't have to spoiler alert anything over the 10-year mark.
Okay, and then they blow up the Borg cube, but the Borg sphere escapes with an unexpected passenger.
Wait. Wait.
What?
You said the Borg cube,
Yeah.
and then you said the Borg sphere.
Because within inside the Borg cube was a Borg sphere containing
Obviously, Gary, keep up.
containing a special passenger.
Was it a fucking
A wee
Borg?
tease for anyone who's
Borg-
not seen the
The
film.
Borg triangle.
And then it goes back in time.
What
to,
the fuck is a Borg?
It's like one of the most dangerous, like scary villains from Star Trek.
Why?
Because they are emotionless robots who just want to take over. They're like a bacteria.
They're like Gavin.
Resistance is futile. You know?
Is that Borgs?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
I've heard that.
so then they go back in time to First Contact.
Okay, so sorry,
stop First
I
Contact.
interjected. So the Borg sphere and the Borg triangle and the Borg,
There's no Borg triangle.
whatever's in the Borg sphere is going
Borg
back in
pyramid.
time,
There's something inside the Borg
and it goes back in time.
to
The Borg
to
decahedron.
stop First Contact. First Contact being between
Borg,
humans
Borg
and Vulcans.
parallelogram.
Zephyrin Cochrane designs the first warp engine, uses it. The Vulcans are travelling by, see this, think, oh, there's a species that has advanced to a point in technology in which we can now have contact with them. So the Vulcans come and visit. The Borg, when
What
it's
humans?
Yeah.
Right. If I'm struggling to keep up with what the fuck you're saying, you
It's
need to
very
slow-
simple.
Yeah, this
you
has
need
been
to slow
Gavin
down.
explaining Star Trek for the past 12 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll keep going. I mean, if you want,
I
we
mean,
can,
keep going.
We can get into individual.
All I'm saying
We
is,
could get into individual Star Trek
all I'm saying
episodes
is
that
just,
involve time
just
travel.
keep.
But we don't do TV.
We don't do TV. Yeah, you said that. Just like if you need to describe this in much simpler terms because I haven't got a fucking clue what you're on about.
Bad guy, go back in time, stop humans from gaining technology that could then take them out into the stars and beyond by assimilating the entirety of Earth.
Okay, cool.
There you go. And spoiler alert that it was the Borg Queen that was on the sphere, and she steals Data and tries to make him Borg, just like she did to
Data.
Picard.
Wait, Data with a capital D.
Yes, who's played by Brent Spiner. He's an android, but he's got human emotions.
Okay. Don't
But-
all androids have human emotions?
That was the least convincing okay I've ever heard.
I'm so confused.
I think in season 3, Picard is kidnapped by the Borg. It's when the Borg are first introduced, and he is assimilated by them, and he's made into Locutus of Borg.
Wait, before you continue on with this, let's just change the name of this episode.
Yeah,
Okay, so
Don't
this
worry.
is
don't worry.
this is now. Gavin explains Star Trek to Gary. I think because you've piqued my interest enough,
Yeah.
but you're gonna have to come on, hit me, give me more.
What more do you want?
Just give me more. Just give me more. I'm gonna ask questions. So I'm curious.
So the great thing about First Contact is it plays
Why
back.
don't we just fucking time travel all the way back to the beginning? So, here's what I know about Star Trek: Captain Kirk and Leonard Nimoy
That's
and
it.
Chris Pine
What about
in 2009.
what about Patrick Stewart as Captain Picard?
And I know Patrick Stewart played Captain Picard. That's it. And
On
a
the TV
Klingon
show.
and a Klingon
and
is
the movies.
and a Klingon is an alien, and that's everything I know. There you go. There's my full Star Trek knowledge.
I mean, what else do you want? I mean,
I want you to fucking give me a rundown. It's been going for like the last 30 years or something, so there must be
longer
plenty
than
here.
that.
Come on,
Started in the 60s.
hit me.
I don't know where to begin with hitting you. I can hit you with my rhythm stick.
Hit me with some Star Trek facts.
It's the best sci-fi television show. It's better than Star Wars. It has some of the best written episodes of sci-fi television. It had some of the best writers.
What's the best episode of Star Trek?
That's an impossible question to ask. Please don't even ask me that question.
What's like the top 10?
I don't.
Oh, I have seen an episode of Star Trek.
What episode?
One, there was two men, and
that doesn't narrow it down.
they were half black and white. And
Oh, that's the original series, yeah. With Kirk and Spock.
yeah, and then Kirk was like, "Hey, alien, come
It's-
onto the
it's
ship.
a whole episode about race.
We've got you sorted. We also found another one of your species because their planet was exploded. We
Yeah.
found another one of your species, and he turns up, and he was opposite black and white.
Yeah, so it's like one was white on the left and black on the right, another one was white on the right and black on the left, and it was a whole kind of way of looking at race and just how thinking
That is what
someone's
Star Trek did a lot, though, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
It took the issues of today,
and
and
it
sci-fi's
still
the
does it, and it does it better than any other sci-fi.
but that's because there's not much, is there?
What do you mean?
There's not really much sci-fi. Like, there's not much long ongoing sci-fi programs out there. Everything's just superhero films now. Superhero TV shows.
Doctor Who,
Yeah, but sci-fi TV
Yeah.
shows used
Twilight Zone.
sci-fi TV
Twilight Zone's
shows
coming back,
used
but
to
it's taken a
be
break for the
Yeah.
last
they
20
used to be
X-Files.
massively prevalent. You're lost in space and like Audio Boy
I
said.
think outside Star Trek, no, but see, all these ones are like big from prior years and they've rebooted them. But there's not been a fresh new sci-fi and like Black Mirror.
But that's because all these
That's
sci-fi
an
shows were
anthology.
just like the one show, whereas Star Trek was like, this is a series, and then we're
Fringe.
going to have a different Star
well, I was
Trek
going to say
series.
Fringe was probably the as far as my memory goes, Fringe is probably the last sci-fi series that lasted
5
a
seasons.
significant amount of time. Yeah, not just like 1 or 2 seasons before getting cancelled. And it wrapped up. It had time to finish its story arcs.
Star Trek wrapped up.
No, Star Trek. Star Trek's the given. This is what I'm saying. I'm trying to think what else has done this.
Oh
There's not much.
no!
Sci-fi's a bit of a sci-fi
I mean-
TV is a bit of a desert, really. It's a bit of a sparse.
When Disney Plus comes out, Disney's going to
Why
have a
are you
bunch
making
of
that face?
Star Wars.
There are so many sci-fi TV shows.
Yeah, but how many of them? Well, that's what I'm saying. How many of them have lasted the test of time?
Doctor Who,
Doctor Who, Star Trek.
mm-hmm.
Keep naming them.
X-Files,
X-Files.
X-Files was finished.
and it came back. But then,
Yeah.
like, that's because they're like, you're saying there's how many different series of Star Trek though? This is the thing.
So you got the original series, then you've got
There you go.
Next
How long did that
Generation,
last?
then you got Deep Space Nine, then you got Voyager, then
These
you've
are all
got
different
Enterprise,
series.
and then you
Yeah,
got Discovery.
but it's still the same show.
But it's not though.
I mean, technically,
Let's go to the X.
the Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager all happened in around the same time because they each passed the torch onto the other. Because Deep Space Nine's first episode had Captain Picard in it, and interestingly, when Captain Picard was assimilated by the Borg, the character Cisco was at that battle, and he was on a ship with his wife being in that battle.
Far too much detail
Captain
here.
Picard
man.
was-
too much detail. Give
Captain
us the
Picard
fucking
was
broad
the Borg
strokes.
that destroyed. He was the
Captain Picard was a Borg.
he was simulated, made into Locutus of Borg, and so he was on the Borg cube,
Cutest Borg.
Locutus, and he
Are you
his
following this?
his
No.
cube, his Borg cube attacked the ship that Cisco and his wife was on. His wife died. Cisco survived, and then Cisco goes on to be the main character in Deep Space
Did
Nine.
Picard ever stop being a Borg?
Well, yes, after the 2-part episode.
But you can stop. You can be unassimilated.
Well, he was the first one. They took him back. They made him human again. But then that brings us back to the time travel movie First Contact, in which the Borg come back, and then he has this kind of like PTSD, like war torn mindset about the Borg and
Are
how,
the Borg like Cybermen from Doctor Who?
but much more better,
Sounds like Cybermen.
Much more better.
much more better,
Okay. Why is that?
because they're
It's coming from people that we don't know anything about.
We know
Star
fuck
Trek,
all
right?
about Star
Please
Trek.
explain to us.
cause they're just.
I wanted to talk about time travel, and now we're just talking about
That's
Star
not
Trek.
happening.
I mean, First Contact.
At the minute, the episode title is going to be Gavin talks about Star Trek for half an hour.
I mean, do you want to? We can jump back into like Looper and stuff. And Back to
I
the
wouldn't
Future.
at this point. I would just
I think
go
we're too
double down
deep.
on the
I
Star
think-
Trek.
Yeah, I'm with Audio Boy in this. I think we
Because
just gotta.
we've talked more about the TV show Star Trek than we've talked about anything to do with time travel movies at this moment in time.
But we're the meandering movie podcast.
I know, but you just keep talking about the Star Trek
I'll
TV
stop
shows.
talking about
It's a special
Star Trek.
episode. It's a special episode.
Let's go back.
This is going to be an uncut thing as well. It's like if you fund us in any way, you'll have access to this full uncut audio of Gavin explaining Star Trek.
I mean, we should just
Two
put,
people who just don't care.
But I want you to care. It's so
I
good.
care a little bit, not much.
Star Trek
It's
Voyager
too
is the
complicated.
weakest of the series. TNG is the best of the series. There you go.
Why
What's
is that?
BNG? What's BNG?
TNG, the Next Generation.
Picard.
Yeah,
What about Kirk?
Kirk's good.
What's a
But
Tribble?
Tribble is the Klingon Empire's most hated enemy,
But they're little cute furballs.
but they are infinitely.
We got hay fever.
Oh
what it is.
god!
They're
There was only one of them a minute ago. Now there's infinite.
they kind of infinitely remake themselves, but by the way they go about doing it is consuming any and all food or water sources or anything you might have.
It's like silverfish.
So they completely decimate your
pretty bad,
entire your entire basis for.
What happens once the Tribble have eaten and drank all the water and food?
Well,
Do
then
they start dying off?
yeah, pretty much.
Do they eat each other? Are they cannibalistic?
I mean, they've never gone into that in Star Trek. But
Presumably they'd have to be, though.
I would
If
believe so.
if one Tribble cannibalized another Tribble, would it make two or more? Because if it does, they can last forever. But if it's not, if it's like a one-on-one,
Sadly, Star Trek never went into this in the 3 episodes in which they appeared in. They appeared in the J.J. Abrams
do you know that they've appeared so
2011 Star Trek Into
much?
Darkness movie.
do you know what fucks me off about Star Trek?
Oh God, what? Is it that they use fucking Skelegro?
No, that's Harry Potter. What fucks me off with Star Trek is that they're constantly saying, "Oh, we're going to this new planet never touched by man," and they
Or
come,
woman.
or woman, and they come down, and
But I'd like to
they
touch
meet
a
the new
woman.
alien species that is the most alien because it's on the furthest reaches of the galaxy, and that alien species has got 2 eyes, 2 ears.
Do you know why?
It's standing on 2 feet.
You're gonna fucking love this
and has a slightly different head.
because there's a Star Trek episode in which they meet a species that went back in time, and then
Don't stop forcing it.
implanted
It's too late.
implanted a gene in every single planet that then went on to explain why every single species they run into more or less looks like human but had like a different nose or a different forehead. So in Star
Fuck
Trek,
off.
they wrote an episode to fix the problem of the limitations of their budget and them only being able to have like, oh, a little nose thing or a little ear thing.
Really?
There you go.
I mean, kudos to them for that. Then that's a way to do it.
There you go.
You write yourself out of a corner.
That's all of Stephen Moffat's writing.
Was that Stephen Moffat that wrote that?
No, he's a terrible writer, and he just writes himself into corners, doesn't know how to get out of it, and just comes up with shit responses. Because like that, the ending of Sherlock season 2, when Sherlock jumps off the building to kill himself,
Yeah.
and then 2 years went by because Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman became like 2 of the hottest commodities, and in that time, fans just went over and over like, this is how we did it, this is how we did it, this is how we did it. And Stephen Moffat's ego was so big that what he wrote as the answer was pretty much a 2 middle fingers to the fan base and look how clever I am instead.
You sound bitter.
He's a terrible writer. He makes him and Mark Gatiss, especially Mark Gatiss with the more recent season of Sherlock Holmes, made comments about fans and their criticisms of their show that just made me lose all respect for them. I was like, especially Mark Gatiss, I was like, just go fuck
I
yourself.
like Sherlock.
I liked Sherlock season 1 and 2, and then Stephen Moffat just went off the fucking rails with that show, and it just became
Much
a farce.
like Sherlock off the top of that building.
Oh,
Ew.
Callback to that thing you said like 30 seconds ago.
became a. Do you never watch
The
Sherlock?
ultimate callback.
I don't watch anything. We've been over this.
You watch
Sherlock's
things,
good though because it's only like 9 episodes and they're only 60 minutes each.
No, they're like 90 minutes each.
They're about 60 minutes
90
each.
minutes.
They're about 60 minutes each.
And you only need to watch 2 seasons of it. Because the minute Sherlock falls off that building and dies, just pretend that's where the show ends. Even though they show him
Are
at
they
the end
doing a
of life.
season
Hello,
4?
Life on Mars.
No, I think they're done for a while.
But then, because Moriarty was meant to be coming back, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he already came back.
He was coming back again.
But then he didn't come back, and it turned
Tell
out
a
he just created like a big computer thing to make it look like he came back, but he didn't actually come back. And then
Wait,
Sherlock
what was this?
was
Maybe
actually
I don't think I've
Sherlock's
seen this.
sister that did it all.
What?
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen any of this.
Oh, don't watch it. It's really
What was
bad.
this? Where was this all happening?
2 years ago. Thanks for farting. Thanks for the wee toots. Toot toot toot. Yeah, it was the last episode was like the big bad of like someone Moriarty's back, blah blah blah. Wasn't actually Moriarty's back. It was just Sherlock's sister that he'd forgotten about because she killed his dog. Was actually in prison, and she was this like massive megalomaniac monster who was using the image of Moriarty to fuck with Sherlock and actually fuck with him. It was really bad. It was one of the worst episodes of television I've ever watched.
I honestly,
Speaking of Sherlock, what did you think of Benedict Cumberbatch in that Star Trek film?
yeah,
Star Trek Into Darkness.
I'm honestly,
Star Trek into
I'm just sorry.
Yeah,
All
none
of
of
our
this
listeners-
is. This is not.
I'm
happening.
so sorry. I'm struggling to track anything we're talking about.
Yep.
I don't know because we are so formless at the moment. We're so formless and aimless that I feel like I'm just floating through this conversation.
Yep.
we're like a Ditto in Pokemon.
There's no end. There's just no end. And I'm trying to figure just somewhere I can be like, right there. I'll aim for that. But what's
So
fucking?
let's start over here.
What's
Do
happening?
we want to scrap this and start again? This can be like a bonus episode that no one will ever hear.
I don't know. What's audio? Boy, you're the producer.
Yeah, I would say this is not.
I'm also a producer.
In what way?
I do a lot of the back end
I
stuff.
mean, I just we need form. This was
Yep.
completely
I
aimless.
thought that as soon as you started, like, oh no, we're not gonna have any form to this.
But we're doing the time travel thing, and I was talking about
Are we
that.
doing
Well,
the time travel
We
thing?
haven't spoken about time travel in the last 40
I
minutes.
I brought it back to
We've
first.
literally hit the 40-minute mark
No,
there.
I talked about First Contact just a wee bit ago, and about how First Contact and the Borg go back in time and try to.
But that was entrenched in 25 minutes of Star Trek.
I feel it was lovingly placed within.
I'm interested in listening to this. Like, well, still talking about it, but I can't imagine anyone listening to this and
Nope.
thinking that was a good episode.
I'm here now and I'm bored.
That's because I'm talking about Star Trek. I like Star Trek,
So should we scrap and should we go for time travel?
but we did time travel.
No, we talked about
We
it for
didn't
12
touch on
minutes,
it.
and
We
then
did touch. We talked about fucking Back to the Future and Ted Bundy and stuff.
Not Ted Bundy.
Bill and Ted Bundy's.
Is that what
Excellent
happens in that
Adventure.
Zac Efron documentary? It's just
Yeah,
Zac
he
Efron
goes-
going through time.
That's
Goes
actually
back
Bill
in
and Ted
time.
3.
Murders Napoleon.
I can't believe they're doing a Bill and Ted 3.
Bill and Ted Bundy.
Bill and Ted Bundy. I'd watch Bill
I'd
and
watch
Ted
the
Bundy.
fuck out of that.
You'd watch Ted Bundy travel through time and kill people. Monsters.
It's the perfect.
Meanwhile,
crime.
I'd happily watch people travel back in time to save whales because I'm a good person. I'm good at heart.
I feel like in Bill and Ted Bundy, they do that bit in Back to the Future. So you know in Back to the Future, at the end of Back to the Future 2, when the Royal Mail guy turns up and he says, "Are you Marty McFly?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "We've had this letter for 1,800 years." And it said, "Don't open it." And he gives it to Marty McFly, and Marty McFly opens it, and it's like, "Oh, Doc Emmett Brown from the 1800s, Wild West
Yeah.
time." In Bill and Ted Bundy, there'd be a scene where the police turn up in like the year 2400, and they're like, "Excuse me, son, are you Ted Bundy?" And they'd be like, "I am. We had this letter delivered back in 1854 about you murdering folks.
You're under arrest, sir."
for time murder."
And then he's like, "You can't arrest me." And then they use this like horrific probe thing in the back of his neck, and it just disables his entire body.
What the fuck are you talking? Like, what's the stark difference between the two of us? Because in my head, Bill and Ted Bundy's time travel device was just like a little bloop wristwatch thing, and for some reason you made it a weird
Yeah.
neck probe. Neck probe.
That savagely disabled his body. Is Minority Report a time travel movie?
I don't think I've seen Minority Report.
Then you
Why
are
are
a
we
fool.
circling back to this? It's not going to be there.
You are a fool.
Why am I a fool?
Fool of a took.
What happens in Minority Report?
It's where they predict murders before they happen.
I actually think, ignoring the 40 minutes before that, if we even just started,
Demolition Man's a time travel movie.
if we
Bill and
even
Ted
just started
Bundy
on,
is worth it, I know.
if we even just
No.
started on the Bill and Ted Bundy bit, like
Yep.
that's the
We
beginning.
could just cut 40 minutes of
yeah, just like fuck the
we
beginning
could
of it.
talk about Demolition Man because that's technically a time travel movie.
It's all right. We'll just crack on with Minority Report. Starting from here. So what happens in Minority Report?
Where they predict murders before they happen. So they look through this like computer thing that's attached to these three like weird women,
Oracles.
oracle women, and they.
I said that as a joke. That's actually what they're
kind of like oracle.
they're
but,
sucking
but
the time.
But it turns out there's
vision.
there's something more to them, but I can't remember what it is. But Tom Cruise
They
ends
got
up like
tickle bitties.
he ends up getting one of them out. But they're able to see things before they happen, and the police use that skill to predict murders before they happen and arrest people before they've committed a murder.
But if you've not committed the murder,
That's the whole point of the film.
oh,
It's almost like you should watch the film.
it sounds good.
But yes, now back to Demolition Man with Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes. That is a time travel movie because in
I
like
agree.
the year 1995, like Los Angeles is a fucking wasteland, and Demolition Man's hunting down Wesley Snipes, and then they both get frozen, and then they wake up in the year like 2007.
Do you remember your weird Captain Marvel fact about how they changed that one can from a Coke can to a Vimto can?
That was Thor: The Dark World.
Thor: The Dark World. Sorry.
Jinx.
So, but it was in the Captain Marvel episode.
Yeah,
Yeah. So Thor: The Dark World. They did the same thing in Demolition Man
with Taco Bell
and Pizza Hut.
Yeah,
Because they go, "There's your dinner. It's from Pizza Hut." And it's like quite clearly meant to be a deconstructed taco. And even as a kid, I remember being like, "What that? That's nothing to do with pizza.
but here's the most important
That's a
thing:
taco."
is why did Demolition Man give us the opportunity for a Sandra Bullock sex scene, but not give us the Sandra Bullock sex scene?
It did.
Biggest
When
disappointment.
they put on their helmets,
But you didn't see anything.
you saw Sandra Bullock
'Cause
having a good old
she's-
time.
Yeah, why does it matter if you see anything?
I want to
There was
see
a
it.
sex scene.
I want to see everything. You understand me? I was a young prepubescent boy. I wanted to see it all. I wanted to take pictures with it on my terrible Sony Ericsson phone.
I think we should start the podcast
What
on
were the
that.
seashells all about, guys?
Let's
What were
start
the
the podcast.
seashells all about?
On that note.
Steve,